This drip all on my body, soaking wet the sunny. Looking like a walking lick, yeah, you can tell I'm grinding. Rolling back was full of loud, I can't hear nobody.
What's up, fuckers? Episode 28, The Beer Latte Show. I'm Steve.
I'm Nick.
Danielle.
And today we have Lorna Stell on the line. Lorna, how are you?
I'm great. How are you guys?
Doing good.
Yeah.
I'm all right.
Can't complain.
Would you rather be visited by a ghost or an alien?
Oh boy. As mind-blowing as it would be, I think probably an alien.
That's not a common one.
Oh, really? I feel like being visited by a ghost would be like kind of disorienting because they're kind of like, this is my impression of how they are, is they're kind of like stuck in time. It just seems kind of like, ugh. I'd rather meet an alien who like knows what's up, can teach me things.
or who doesn't, who knows?
Yeah, most people seem to be saying ghost. I guess they're thinking like happy ghost. I automatically assume it's a pissed off person, so.
Yeah. Well, hopefully that's not true.
I mean, if I was stuck, I'd be pissed off.
I know.
Right, which is why I wouldn't want to be visited by that thing.
Which is why totally, if you think about it, why is it that they're always dressed in like some period clothing? And it's always like a similar period as well. Like the Victorian age or something.
Yeah.
So I see that you do, I guess you release self-loathing so you can be free from chronic illness. What does that like entail?
Yeah. So this all comes from my own personal journey, but basically what I found in my life is I experienced years and years of various chronic illnesses as well. And I found along with it, I don't know if this is true for everyone, but in my case, I help people who resonate with my message, which is for me, it felt like what was off with my body was coming from ultimately this like bigger systemic issue of I hated myself, which sounds pretty extreme, and it was. So yeah, I basically went through years and years of self-loathing and just this constant like inner monologue of my inner critic being like pretty much off the rails. And I just didn't even have an awareness of that. And I didn't know, I guess I thought it was normal. So I didn't really know that it was something that I could choose to heal. And so I've, crossed paths with so many other people that say like, yes, yes, yes to this, because they feel the same way, that they feel like, and so many people will resonate with this, that they feel like there's just something wrong with them. And so when you can release that, and what I teach is releasing it through intuition. So to me, intuition is you're connecting with, it has many names, but basically your higher self, your soul. You're connecting with this part of you that is also connected to everything else. And it has this greater perspective that is infinitely, unconditionally loving. And it basically just busts through basically all those lies that like you're not good enough or you're a waste of space or all the things I used to tell myself. So so I teach people how to connect with their own intuition, and then their body can basically have the resources and the time and the space and really just like the love it needs to heal itself.
And how did you realize this? How did you come to this realization?
Yeah, so I've had various mentors over the years, but I heard someone talking about how they were basically having conversations with their intuition. And I was pretty new to anything in the spiritual space. But it was taught in such a way that was like so accessible and so, didn't have to be really complicated. And so I just thought that seems really interesting. And, I'm out of other answers, so I'm just going to give it a try. And it was basically a byproduct that it helped my body. I was more just curious about it. It's basically just opened up this whole world of new answers and new like bliss in life, basically.
So you're basically just going inward is really what it is, to sharpen your intuition somehow.
Right. So what I teach is what I call just intuitive methods. But the really big one for me was just going in meditation. And there are so many different styles of meditation, but yeah, what I teach is basically just you go in and you don't have to. I think a lot of people see meditation as kind of um, inaccessible, or they're like intimidated by it, or they feel like they're really bad at it because they can't stop thinking. And so that's super normal if anyone listening feels that way. But the way I do it, that's not even necessarily the goal. The goal is basically to quiet a little bit, because you do have what I see it as is like you have your ego and you have your intuition. These are two parts of you, and your ego is the one that like won't shut up. Basically, it is really helpful in certain situations, but yeah, I basically just teach that you can like give your ego like a 10-minute vacation, 5-minute vacation, and then your intuition can come through so easily to be heard. But you're never going to hear it unless you ask for it and intentionally listen.
And so, how does one get the ego to get out of the way when they're trying to meditate? What would be a good way to do something like that?
Yeah, so it can be really simple as just focusing on the breath. And that's not a new idea. That's what a
Right.
lot of people teach. And it is, I mean, if you've never tried it and it sounds too good to be true, try it because it's incredible how easy it can be when you just, a thought comes up, or, you find yourself putting yourself down again. You literally just come back to the breath every time. And it's not a sexy answer, but practice is really the thing that makes it come so easily with time. So yeah.
See, and when you're in meditation, how long do you do it for?
I do find as I've done it, consecutively for months and months now, I do sometimes spend more time with it, but many days it'll be 10 minutes, like 15 minutes if I really have like a lot I want to unpack, or a lot of questions I want answered. But it really doesn't have to be a long time. And yeah, and so with more practice, I do suggest doing it every day if you can, but if you can't, that's all good too. But yeah, the more you can practice, consecutive days, the faster you can tune in. So then you don't even really need a lot of time. And I find myself doing it too, like even when I'm just out in the world and I'm like, should I go there? Should I go there? Should I turn right or left? You can use this all the time.
I wish I could trust my intuition a little bit better.
And that comes with practice too.
Yeah, I bet. I bet. So when you started meditating, did you get anything like did anything extraordinary happen for you? Like there must have been a profound moment to make you realize that this is something that could cure you.
Oh, that's interesting. I don't know that there was actually. I think the main thing was it reconnected me with my body. And so I noticed that I just felt so much better when I was doing it. The main thing was like, what one of the first things I noticed was I would have a headache and I could meditate the headache away in like 10 minutes. And I was like, oh, wow, I don't have to like depend on a Tylenol or like, pop a pill in my body. I can just take this like easy route, basically.
Well, that's awesome. I've been getting some serious headaches lately. Maybe I'll just try that.
Yeah, please do.
And so when you do meditate, are you thinking of yourself somewhere else? Are you thinking of like let's say your higher self? Are you just thinking of energy or are you really just focusing on your breath?
Oh, that's a good question. I tend to, so what I notice is when the ego is really active, or, it can be called the mind as well. Just when the mind is really active, it tends to bring you out of the present and out of your body. And pretty much all your focus is a lot of your energy is focused up in your head, if you're thinking a lot. And so I find when I go into meditation, it's really helpful just to, like I said, reconnect with the breath, but then that causes you to reconnect with the entire rest of your body that's been neglected all this time. So I don't really do too much in terms of visualization, however, at least not intentionally, I should say, but my intuition does come through in images sometimes, or I'll see a color, or a memory will pop into my mind, excuse me, things like that. So I would say I don't do it intentionally in terms of like, okay, I'm going to choose to go on this journey, I'm going to kind of wait to see what it brings to me, if that makes sense.
Oh yeah, it makes total sense. Now, do you ever like see energies or anything crazy like that, or
Oh,
if
like
I'm
auras,
going,
things like that.
yeah, I don't know if I'm getting like too out there, just tell me.
No, I'm here for all of it. Although I have to say I'm pretty boring. I'm like a fairly normal person. I have to say I don't see auras. I don't see spirits.
Oh no,
I
not auras or anything like
okay,
energy, well, basically because I'm thinking that everything is comprised of energy. So that's
right.
really all I'm saying. So once you're meditating, I'm just wondering if you're more tuned into that kind of ethereal experience.
Oh yeah. I think I kind of feel it on a more physical level, I think. And yeah, it just feels like my own body energy like lifting, like any heaviness that was there can just kind of organically lift. And I do kind of, it's hard to explain, but I do get that feeling of like, oh yeah, everything's connected. Oh yeah, I'm not really separate from anything. And so that's where the real healing is. Yeah.
Do you ever listen to Deepak Chopra go that route? Like the metaphysical, not like the metaphysical, what am I trying to say? I don't know, just more of like the sciency aspect of meditation.
I find it really interesting. Yeah, I go through different phases of, researching different things. So, yeah, I've started in kind of almost like a kind of pedestrian way. I started by listening to other mentors that were just kind of doing it the same way as I do, just like, oh, I figured out I can do this, and now I feel great. And then it's almost like the science comes later.
Do you ever listen to Dr. Joe Dispenza?
I'm a big fan of his. Yeah, he's amazing.
Yeah, I've been listening to him. He's pretty profound.
I know. Yeah, I want to learn everything he has to say.
Right? And he's so calm, and man, he's actually got, I guess you already know, he's got some meditations out there that like his voice is so very calm and you're like, wow, I could trust this guy.
Yeah, right. And it's all about how you feel too. I mean, that's why I teach about intuition as well, is like if you can just pay attention to how you feel. I mean, how many meditation teachers are there on the planet? There's got to be thousands at least, right? Maybe millions.
Right.
So, and that's why, when it comes back to chronic illness as well, it's like, how do you know like where to go? Because everybody wants to tell you their opinion. Everybody, even like coming back to meditation, like everybody wants to share like, ooh, I love this person or that person. And it's up to you to be able to tune in and see what feels good. All day long you can weigh like pros and cons or like why one person's stuff is better than someone else's, but really it comes back to how you feel and what's really in alignment with you.
Is there a better time to focus on yourself, like as far as, trying to heal yourself? Is there a better time of day to do such a thing?
Oh, interesting. Not necessarily. And that's also why, like, again, it always comes back to the individual person and what feels right for you. I like to do it like earlier in the day or like late morning, mid afternoon, but I mean, I wouldn't always have done that. I used to be more of a night owl person. So if I had figured this out like in my teens, I might not be doing it at that time. But I know other people who, yeah, like they wake up much later in the day and they kind of like their energy more tends to rev up later. So maybe it's later. So it's really all about like just trying it and not being afraid of doing it wrong. That's what I would say.
And are you a firm believer of, I don't know, not surrounding yourself with the wrong kind of energies, like, be it food or people, and like guarding yourself from certain, like, I guess, energies of food or people?
I think that can be really helpful. Yeah, I think earlier on in the journey, it is important to, yeah, figure out again, like when you can reconnect with your body and how you're actually feeling, you start to figure out, like, oh, like when I eat bread all day, I feel like crap.
Right.
um, or when I'm around this person, like I always walk away feeling really depleted and I'm, talking shit about myself internally. So, yeah, so I think you start to figure that out as you go. And I think at a certain point, you kind of ascend to a level where that stuff doesn't really bring you down as much because you have such a strong foundation in who you are. And so things like that tend to not like, knock your perception of your own truth as much. But that's like, advanced level, I would say. I'm not always there. I'm there sometimes, but yeah, I think it certainly can't hurt to, like, look at your environmental toxins and look at who you're having relationships with, and what foods are you eating that don't make you feel good. I'm never gonna say, like, don't do that, for sure.
Back to the point of, as far as like healing yourself and meditation, and you said there isn't a perfect time, but prior to going to bed, would that be a bad time, would you think? Or would it be more optimal?
It could be good. I mean, there are different brainwave states that we go through. So first thing when you wake up, and first thing, like, or I guess last thing before you fall asleep, you go into the theta state, which is more where your subconscious lives, and that's where all that ego stuff is. So if you have beliefs about, like, um, I don't like, I'm not lovable, for example, like, that could be a state to start to get into that and start to rewire that. It's not to say that's the only time you can do it, but that's an interesting way to approach it as well.
So if you went into a dream from
Yeah.
from meditation, it might actually help, or it might hinder.
It definitely could. I mean, I pay attention to my dreams for sure. I notice that they are usually, I don't know about always, but they, at least lately, I don't know about, maybe it's a 2020 thing, but they tend to be very symbolic. They tend to really shine a light on whatever needs to be front of mind for me, or things I need to keep in check. So yeah, so I mean, it's all connected, man.
When you talk about like listening to your breaths, what exactly, because I don't meditate nor know how to, what does that really entail?
Yeah, so it's really as simple as it sounds. So I can actually kind of walk you through it in a way. So what you would do is, a lot of people do this sitting up. I find I don't become completely relaxed sitting up, but some people fall asleep really easily. It's up to you. It's, again, like experimentation. So I like to meditate lying down, and I literally just breathe. I actually turn on ocean wave sounds because I just really love it, and it's very relaxing. And so that basically just helps to, like, clear my thoughts a little bit. Yeah, and I just lay there and I breathe, and I'm doing this mindfully, so I'm not, obviously. You want to lay there, and I do focus on the exhale. So, but I'm not, like, counting to a certain number. I'm not trying to do it any specific way every time. Some people say, like, breathe in through your nose and out through your mouth every time. I don't always do that. So there's really, like, no wrong way to do it.
Okay.
Except for you'd probably fall asleep.
And even that is okay. Like, if you fall asleep, that means you need the sleep. So yeah.
Oh.
See,
Yeah, like
meditate myself right to bed.
back when I was in college, I would meditate if my mind was going to, like, when your mind's like super wound and you're like you're just laying there tossing and turning. I would meditate myself just to go to sleep because I was like, I need to get to sleep. I got class in the morning.
Yeah, that's brilliant.
I didn't know that.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
I'm trying to figure out how to make my brain stop thinking about shit.
In
By
general.
breathing.
But you got to concentrate on your breathing.
Yeah, so when you do it, it's different than thinking about it. That's the thing, is, like, you can't think yourself into not thinking. So you
That's my
literally do
problem.
have to, like, physically do it. Yeah.
So think about it like that, right? So you're not usually focused on your breath, and I'm wondering how many people out there really don't breathe properly.
Yeah.
I don't even know if I ever breathe. I don't pay
Create
attention
a
to that
lot
shit.
of anxiety.
Yeah, and you'll notice too, if you ever experience anxiety, if you're ever, like, in perfectionism mode, if you're ever overthinking, if you're ever, like, trying to solve an intense problem, you'll notice that you're probably holding your breath and you're probably holding tension somewhere in your body. And so if you've never meditated before, or if you're very new to it, you'll probably never notice that without literally stopping and just noticing. So that's why meditation is such an amazing tool. It really just shines a light on, what's actually going on with your body.
You're like kind of like grounding yourself in a way.
Yeah.
So I ground myself in a different way when I'm like working. I'll tell everybody to shut the fuck up.
Oh,
Please stop talking. And then I think it through myself in my own little head.
you really tell everybody to shut up.
Oh,
Everybody around you.
No, shut the fuck up.
Oh, wow.
Just like that.
You must be well liked at work.
Yeah, I have to tell him. You have to shut the fuck up. And then I have a little crackhead. He'll start talking more. I have to tell him, get the fuck out of here, go to another room or something like that. And
This is interesting.
yeah. So I guess that's kind of like my own type of meditation right there.
Yeah.
Now the question is that your intuition or your ego?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not sure. Who knows who's coming out there? And today we have Flying Fish for another 3 beers. First up, they have a low-calorie IPA called Daylight Savings, 4% alcohol.
Holy shit, that's pretty good. That's really good.
It's only 110 calories.
That's awesome.
Yeah, that's really good. This might be the only daylight savings I actually like. I could get behind this one. The other ones, no.
That's
Bringing
like
it back to 28 weeks ago.
so drinkable. That's awesome.
Yeah, it's actually really refreshing.
Yeah.
It's like a way more flavorful, like the low calorie, like light beers, like way more flavor. Like it's pretty close to them. Most of them are around 100. Some are like 96.
Yeah.
Like 4% alcohol. Could I drink this like soda or no?
Well,
Close
soda
enough.
has 0% alcohol. So
Yeah,
kind of.
so, yeah.
It's like 4% more than soda.
Yeah, roughly.
I mean, would I be drunk by the end of the day if I had 5?
No.
No, not all day. I mean, like when you have the seltzers, though, the seltzer is like 5%. So it's like slightly disappointing there's not slightly more alcohol in it, because it'd be like a way better option.
First of all, this has pale. Those seltzers pale in comparison to this. This is really good.
Right, that's what I'm saying,
Seltzers-
but a little bit more alcohol would be like a little bit better.
Yeah, but the more alcohol probably would up that calorie count.
Well, they're able to do those seltzers down to 100.
Yeah, but this has more flavor.
Yeah, this is super flavorful. I
Yeah,
like
this is nice and crisp and really smooth.
Yeah,
Super,
it's
super
a lot
light.
more flavorful than
Yeah.
the other those seltzers.
Yeah, I totally wasn't expecting such a good drink.
Yeah, and again, once I heard the name, I was already against it. So,
But meanwhile, he likes it.
yeah, I'm a fan of daylight savings. They changed my mind.
Well, Danielle, on your 1 to 10 hop scale, where are you putting this low-calorie IPA brewed with a sigh?
I'd go 8.2.
Wow.
Yeah, it's good.
All right. And Nick, what are you thinking?
8.1.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm going to go with 8.
Yeah.
8. It's a strong contender for, like, honestly, something I would drink, like, all the time.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah, for like day drinking, just
Works. It's not so heavy at all.
Yeah.
Like, at all.
or like if you don't want to you want to drink beer but not get wasted at like your niece's or nephew's like christening or something, like drink that.
Right. Or you just woke
Just
woke up.
randomly. Do you have a christening to go to?
No, like you woke up, you needed something to start the day.
Yeah, like a morning coffee.
And then next up, we have what they're calling Trade Winds Tropical Wheat. It's 5.3% alcohol. Not necessarily the fan of the smell, but I think most wheat beers smell similar to me.
Oh my God. I wasn't a fan of the smell, but guess what? It's really, it's good.
Yeah, when I smelled it too, I was like, okay, but then it's the combination of the wheat and then you get that nice tropical flavor.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Right?
It is brewed with passion fruit and guava. Yeah, it's actually not bad.
Yeah. I could totally taste the fruit. It's so good.
Yeah, this is very, I mean, the name says tropical. It tastes very tropical.
Yeah, I'm not necessarily the biggest wheat fan, but this isn't bad at all.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think the fruit definitely, the wheat's there, but I think the fruit's winning.
Yeah.
The wheat is there, but the fruit is winning. It's
Yeah.
like we're watching a race.
Yeah, or like a battle, a fight, whatever. You know, whatever you want to call it.
I want to call it It's Living in Symbiosis.
Wow. And Danielle, what are you thinking? 1 to 10, hop scale, wheat beer, go.
7.5.
Okay. All right, that's fine.
Thanks.
That's acceptable. Nick?
7.7.
Okay, he likes it slightly more than you.
Sorry. I didn't know we were having a race again.
I'm more tropical. You're more wheat.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm going to go somewhere around like a 7. I think that puts it higher than some of my wheat beers. I'm not too sure.
Well, when you're not a fan of wheat beers, then
Right.
7's pretty darn good.
And then last up, we have Salt and Sea, which is a sour, but it's only 4.5 or 4.3%.
I tasted it faster than you said sour, and I wasn't expecting.
So you just dived the
Yeah.
fuck in
Darn
there.
it!
I was like, Steve didn't get the name out of it yet, and you're already taking a sip. I was like,
Because its smell is good. It's so mellow, and I was like, I'm going for that.
No, it's not that sour at all. It's like a bitch sour.
yeah, it's a baby sour. It's there.
That's what I meant, baby sour.
I'd be the more PG one.
Yeah. It's actually enjoyable because it actually has a little kick in the end.
I feel like we've had these before, the
Yeah.
Salt and Sea.
Nope.
No, they look so familiar.
Yeah, definitely. When I drink it, when it's in my mouth, I don't really feel the sour. But once I swallow, the sour then starts to pick up.
Oh, and this one is strawberry and lime.
That's why it's different for me.
I can taste maybe the lime.
Yeah, I think I could smell the strawberry though. I can definitely smell like a berry to it.
Actually, you can a little bit.
Yeah.
I don't necessarily taste it, but I smell it, but I taste the lime.
Yeah, no, I smell the berry because that's why I dived in. Damn, I wish I hadn't done that.
You were tricked.
Yeah, this is
It's an enjoyable sour.
yeah, and definitely for people that are new into the sour game, this is one that you would be able to drink.
Yeah, the other sours, the last couple sours we had, like really just fucking raped your mouth.
Yeah,
But this is reasonable.
I mean, I'm more of a fan of the mouth raping.
Oh, yes. We're going to go here again.
Yeah, he wants to get fucked in the mouth or whatever he was
No,
saying.
yeah, I want to get spanked in the mouth.
Yeah, get spanked in the fucking mouth. And this sour is more like a love tap,
yeah,
which is fine. It's fine.
yeah. You know, you don't always have to go rough.
Oh, my
Sometimes you're just there for the moment. You just want to enjoy the scenery.
my God. I need new hosts.
And Danielle, what are you thinking? 1 to 10.
I don't know, I was tricked.
Sour scale. Sour scale.
I was
Sour
tricked.
scale.
Okay, hold on. I'm thinking 7.2.
Okay. All right. So you are kind of a fan.
Well, that's because I hate sours, but this one
Wow.
I would drink.
Oh, okay. Reasonable. And Nick, where you at?
7.9.
Wow.
Yeah,
Yeah, I was thinking like a 7.8.
it's really good.
And that is Flying Fish. You can find them at flyingfish.com and Flying Fish Brew on Instagram. And as always, you guys can find us at thebeerlatteshow.com and the Beer Latte Show on Instagram and Facebook and Beer Latte on Twitter.
Not that you have or you've gone into any of this, but have you ever seen or heard of those like frequencies that are like different frequencies for different, I don't know, like things in life, different energies? Like there's certain frequencies that are good for like getting abundance or, you know, stuff like that. Have you ever seen that?
Yeah, I love that stuff. I listen to them a lot for honestly just for relaxation, or if I play them sometimes like while I'm working on something kind of mentally heady. So it's like I get to focus and also relax at the same time. That's why I like them.
Yeah, so you're just playing them as ambient music in the background.
Right. Yeah.
Oh, I gotcha. I just wonder if they really work. I just want to know. Because they become such a big thing.
Yeah, well, I don't know about like for abundance specifically, but I do know that. So I'll say this: one of the intuitive methods that I teach is singing, just like literally for fun. And so, from learning about that and delving a little bit into the world of sound healing, each part of the body has its own frequency. And so, for example, I love to listen to crystal singing bowls, and you can listen to ones that are tuned to, let's say, the frequency of the endocrine system. And like I've listened to those before and I'm like, oh my God, I have to sit down. Like I can't, I feel like trying to wash the dishes or something. It's like, no, my body really needs this. So stuff like that, I've really seen a lot of difference with it.
I did not know that. Okay, so that makes a lot of sense about the frequencies. I didn't know every part of your body had a different frequency.
Yeah, so you can literally tune your body, which is really cool. It's like, any instrument that can kind of get out of tune if it's under a lot of stress or it's, not been nourished properly. Yeah, you can just retune that.
Huh. Not only can you do it through diet, but you could do it through music. That's pretty cool.
Right. And again, that's the amazing thing about intuition. Like my intuition led me there, but it might lead someone else to a totally different healing modality. So you've got to, tune in and just go like, all right, where's the scavenger hunt going to lead me next? But you don't know until you ask your intuition.
Yeah. Well, I mean, now that I think about it, the frequencies have been around a really long time, right? Like, I don't
Yeah.
know. I want to say like Asia uses that kind of thing, right?
I believe so. I've also heard stories about like ancient Egypt as well. So, yeah, I mean, it's not like humans invented frequencies, right?
Right.
Yeah.
That's cool. I mean, yeah, because we're all energy. We all have, going back to that, I mean, we're all energy.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's part of the reason why life can be so painful. And, especially for empaths and highly sensitive people with chronic illness, there's this belief that like we're separate, and we're really not as separate as we're led to believe. That's been my experience.
So you're saying, like most people do, that anybody could pick that up if they just tuned in?
I really think so. I mean, it's funny when you and I were first messaging and, we were talking about intuition and you were like, wow, what an intriguing gift. And I wanted to be like, girl, wouldn't you know it is not a gift? Like, I'm not special. Like, literally anyone can learn this, which is so cool.
Well, it's funny because we had, I guess, Spirit Tiff, she's an intuitive, right? Well, she said that her gift, I think she's also clairvoyant. I don't remember if I can remember correctly, but she said that anybody could pick up her gift as well. So I'm assuming it's
Right.
similar.
Yeah, the clairvoyance is one of them. It's literally just intuitive senses. And that's a thing that everyone has as well. But again, like if you don't really have an awareness of it or you never choose to use it, then you wouldn't know it's there and it wouldn't be very strong. So it is something that you can practice with and grow stronger.
And
Yeah, she was talking to the dead or whatever.
Well, yeah. Right,
I mean, I don't think I could do that.
Well, she said that anybody could do it.
Well, I don't want to anyway, so.
Actually, that's a great point. I would say anybody could do it who has a desire and who is energetically open to it. So if you're going into it as a skeptic or as like, I don't really care about this is made up, this is stupid, then you're probably not going to see or hear anything.
Right, which is the reason why you don't see ghosts and you say you claim to want to.
Maybe subconsciously I don't want to.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
I ain't got time for that shit.
You also claim you don't have dreams, so.
That's true. I do not.
But you do. Everybody has to dream.
You weren't at my dreams that I know of. That sounds terrible.
Wait, what?
Yeah, my dreams were way different. And now I don't have any.
So you are an intuitive. And am I right? I'm right?
Yeah, I feel like that's accurate.
So if you're in front of somebody or a friend or, even just a stranger, do you get like feelings and are you compelled to talk about them or in any way?
I think, yeah, as I would say anybody who's an empath or probably anyone also who's a highly sensitive person, HSP, would probably feel this as well. I know all my empath friends, like we all message each other all the time. And we all have these stories of like, just, like you walk into a room and you know immediately if like a fight just happened or whatever. Like a lot of us really can read people. So yeah, I've had that experience many times of like, you can just kind of feel their emotional energy. And that's all emotion is anyway. Emotion is just energy in motion. And so, yeah, I would say I've had that experience.
Interesting. I wonder how you would go about trying to figure that out if you're an empath or not. I mean, gifted, a gifted empath.
Yeah, I mean, I think it just comes from awareness personally. So if someone is looking for answers and they're realizing, because this is kind of what happened to me and a lot of my friends, is like at a certain point in life you realize like, oh my god, I'm so sensitive, or like, I just need all this time to rest, or like I can't be around people right now, and you kind of start to look for answers for it because you're realizing it's such a big thing for you. And then yeah, that's kind of where where the answers start to come.
Oh, I see. So if you're like around too many people, you kind of get overwhelmed. It's kind of like an anxiety kind of thing.
It can be. So when you're a highly sensitive person, an HSP, which I'm both. So if you're an HSP, you're also hardwired to be neurologically more sensitive. So that means any stimuli, whether it's emotions or sound or light, you're going to be more sensitive to that. So yeah, sometimes that's a thing with people as well. You might not like big parties. You might not like, huge college seminar classes, or like, working in a busy office, things like that.
That makes a lot of sense. And you can't handle like fake people. Like you would know right off the bat, I'm assuming.
They're pretty annoying, yeah.
I think that happens to a lot of people. They don't like fake people.
Yeah, but I mean, if you're empathetic to people, I mean, you're just going to want to steer clear of that. Some people will go towards that and they like that kind of thing.
Huh,
like
stupid.
people like gossip columnists and stuff like that.
I suppose. Just sounds like a waste of time.
Maybe you're an empath.
Maybe. I think my mind is just clear of everything,
Well, no, I don't think so.
except for other shit that I think about. Do you believe that there's like a way to, it's going to sound crazy, like transfer energy? Like lately, and I'm going to, I have to explain it. I don't know. It doesn't happen really with my son, but I have nieces and nephews that if I watch them fall, I swear I feel like the pain in my knees, like for them.
Yeah.
I don't know if that helps them or not, but I could, I don't know if I'm like stealing it from them so they don't get hurt. But I swear I see them fall and like it literally, I'll feel the pain.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, of course you do. Yeah, I mean, we all have a level of empathy, I guess, unless you're a, sociopath or psychopath, um, which, like, that's a real thing. But yeah, and I mean, you are probably so, tied so closely in terms of emotion and energy with your children. Like, they're your children. You love them, right? So, yeah, so of course you're
so.
going to feel, you think so? Yeah, I mean, I noticed this with like close friends, or I'm married, so I notice it with my husband, other family members. Like, yeah, if they're in pain, you're gonna feel their pain as well, and that's why also it is important to have boundaries and things like that too. So it's a superpower, and it's also something important to be mindful of. Also, it's a balance.
I don't feel anything when my wife gets hurt.
Maybe I've never gotten hurt before.
Yeah, let's go with that.
You said that you were doing a group program that you're taking applications for. What's that all about?
Oh, that's true. Yes, it is called Alchemize Your Chronic Illness. It is a 3-month online small group immersion. I'm calling it an immersion because you are going to be part of this small group. It's not going to be like everyone's separate doing their own thing. What I'm saying basically is like you're going to join this group and you're going to have this new empath HSP inner circle of people who get you, which is really exciting. If you're someone who's an empath, or you're someone with chronic symptoms, the really common occurrence is that you just notice so often this feeling of like feeling isolated, and also like nobody gets you. Especially with chronic symptoms, it's like you don't often have anybody to really talk to, because most people aren't really dealing with that. And so they don't really know how to relate. They don't really know how to support you. So I really wanted to do this in a group format where we can have real deep conversations about like, how are you actually feeling, and how can we actually support you, and heal all of this together. Healing in isolation is not really the whole picture. We heal in community. So yeah, so it'll be this online small group immersion where I'm going to be walking people through the healing methods that worked for me. And yeah, and we're going to meet every week, do calls, all of that amazing stuff.
That's awesome. And now will it be fully online? Will you be using like a Zoom thing? Will it be like video?
Yeah, exactly. So I love video calls. They feel really personal to me. So yeah, so we're gonna really like get to know each other in this group and have a real community. And yeah, so people will get to learn through written content, video content. You know, they can do whatever feels best to them, and then they can also join the weekly calls where yeah, we'll basically just be able to. Um, Talk through everything in real time, and I'll be coaching in real time. So that'll be really awesome. And there's also a VIP option as well where people can get monthly one-on-one calls with me. So they'll get the group calls and in addition, the individual calls with me too.
Oh, that sounds awesome. I might actually do something like that.
Yeah. Are you experiencing anything physically that you're looking to heal?
So it's funny that you had mentioned that. I, ever since I was 16 years old, I've had Epstein-Barr, and that led to chronic fatigue. But ever since
Yeah.
I found like the spiritual side and kind of like started going within, which is only the past like, let's say 7 years, I don't really feel it as much. But lately I've been told I have I don't know, some kind of weird thing with I have these extraordinary headaches. And I'm wondering if that would probably help to go within
Yeah.
again. Yeah.
Yeah, that really resonates with me. Chronic fatigue syndrome is one of the things I was able to heal. So that really resonates. Yeah, so over the years, I was able to heal chronic fatigue syndrome, chronic sinus infections, chronic mouth ulcers, which are awful. Nobody talks about them. People should talk about them. They're terrible. And anxiety and depression. So, and it's not limited to those things if you're also experiencing, anyone listening, like chronic pain or Lyme or anything else. Like there are so many, like the list is almost endless now of chronic conditions. So it's not really limited to any certain type of symptoms or anything. So it's basically just if your intuition's pulling you to this program, then it's for you. And there's a lot of great information on the website I put together with an FAQ and everything. So yeah, I would say if anyone's interested, I don't know if you're going to ask this, but I would say join me on Instagram because I'm doing some live teaching as well. So you'll be able to kind of see what my style is like and just go ahead and like dive in with your questions. And anyway, so that's a great way to dip your toes in.
I love that. And so are you only on Instagram or do you have like a Facebook or anything else?
So on Instagram, I am at Lorna Stell, and on Facebook, I post a lot on my personal profile. So feel free to friend me, anyone listening, or follow me on there. I'm facebook.com/Lorna Stell Intuitive.
I love it. Yeah. I actually might give this a go. Not even kidding.
Yeah, I'd love to have you, and of course, we can chat more about it.
It's so funny. And I'm just going to throw this all out there for the entire world. I was also diagnosed with bipolar. I never believed it, but I mean, I could always feel the symptoms of depression and anxiety, the underlying anxiety. And I feel like I also healed that back in the day.
Amazing. Yeah.
It's like I get where you're coming from. It's like, yeah, this is right up my alley.
Oh, amazing. Yeah, I'm so glad we could talk about this. And I'm not surprised at all that it started to, you saw some things clearing up once you started to open up to the spiritual side. I mean, you're basically going inward with yourself. And to me, like, that's where the healing is. This is the thing, this might be a whole other rabbit hole, but this was part of my experience. Why I'm so passionate about this is people with honestly any diagnosis, but especially chronic symptoms. Because Western medicine isn't fully, this is my belief, might be controversial, but it's not fully equipped to treat chronic conditions because it's like perpetual and there's no clear cause a lot of the time. At least that was the case for me. So the only thing doctors can often offer is symptom management, which is basically a Band-Aid.
Right.
So yeah, so you're getting like medications to suppress your symptoms. Meanwhile, your symptoms are like an SOS from your body. Your body is actively communicating to you. And if you're shutting it down, you'll never know what the message is. So the whole point of this program is to find out like, what is the message? What do I need to know? And then you can heal yourself. So if you're going along on this healing journey from chronic symptoms, you're going to hear thousands of different opinions about what you should do. There's different books, products, supplements, medications, specialists, all these things. But if you're throwing stuff at the wall and just waiting anxiously for it to stick, you could spend your entire life doing that. And that was how I started on my journey. And I was like, wait, this literally is not working. It's like, it's keeping me in the same place. So that's why I'm so passionate about this.
Yeah, that's what I always tell you, Steve. That's why I don't take medicine for like if I have a headache or a pain, a little pain, he's like, take something. And I'll be like, no, there's a reason why I have this. I must need to drink water or, something. My body's telling me something. And he looks at me like I'm an idiot.
Yeah, I just take that shit.
Yeah, he just takes it.
But not so much with like other stuff. I feel like other stuff is more or less like she's like a Band-Aid. It's more or less actually money grab, realistically.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree.
Sometimes. Nah, I don't know, but sometimes. I'm going like all the time.
Well,
I mean, if you think about it, like the whole system is set up to keep people sick. Like companies are profiting off of medications, but they're not profiting off of cures so much, right?
Exactly. Like
well, I mean, I'm just saying, like, if you
better.
go into a broader aspect, like some people are like schizophrenia, sometimes they need medication. It's hard to go within when you can't see without.
Sure. Yeah.
I mean, that's like an extreme.
Yeah, no, I know. I'm just going that far.
I'm going with somebody that has like whatever. They give them something, which causes something else. They give them another pill.
Yeah.
Next thing you know, they're 15 pills deep a day, and everyone's getting rich off their stupid ass.
Right. And meanwhile, they're doing the same thing over and over, like probably exacerbating whatever the actual underlying problem is.
Sure. Yeah. And at the same time, I would never tell someone to not see a doctor, for example. So like when I say tune into your intuition might tell you, yeah, keep seeing your doctor, or like actually go over here to see this other specialist or whatever. Like you never know where it's going to lead you, but it's going to lead you to the right place. So I don't mean to say that doctors are bad or anything like that. I still see all my doctors for all my checkups and everything. And yeah, so it's just a matter of, doing what feels right for you. But yeah, you're absolutely right. Like you can stay in the same patterns your entire life and just never hear the real underlying cause. And often, I mean, this was the case for me. It came from somewhere like way, way back. Like I remember feeling depressed in childhood. So, it's not something that is to be taken lightly.
Yeah, we had a guest one time and she had where was she from? I forget. But she said she had a whole thing about healing the child within first. And then you could...
Oh, that's a lady from the UK.
Oh, okay.
That's literally what she does. She, I guess, talks through to you in order to find out what happened in your childhood to heal, I guess.
So intuition's just one of the many ways to facilitate that connection as well. I talk to my inner child a lot, actually. One of the methods I teach, the intuitive methods, is just journaling. And so one of the ways people can do that is just write letters to their inner child. And I find it's really helpful just to like clear out the junk that's sitting in their brain.
That's funny. When I was going to be a mother, this was going back 21 years ago, but I was feeling like a little bit apprehensive, as all young mothers were. Or are or do. And I had a dream, and it was so profound to me, but to you guys it's going to seem like nothing, but I had a dream that I was a little baby, and I was watching I saw a little baby sitting on a couch in my house, and that little baby was me, and I felt the love for that little baby.
Wow.
Isn't that
crazy? That blows my mind. Yes, right? That's amazing.
Yeah, so I kind of understood like a little bit of a more in-depth love, I guess, for myself. And that made me like, I don't know, accept motherhood, I guess.
Yeah. And like, how do you think your child benefited from that? Like, that would be huge.
Yeah. Because at the time I was like, I never even thought I wanted children. And then I knew.
Yeah. Awesome.
It was like a little message to yourself, kind of.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly. Yeah. I mean, like all these parts of ourselves are still happening in real time in a way. Like time, I feel like time is made up. Like time isn't real.
You don't feel that way. That's actually true.
Yeah. Yeah. So like, when you want to talk to your inner child.
Oh, stop. I keep trying to tell him that this is not a theory. It's an actual truth.
Yeah. Everything's connected all the time. Everything's happening at once.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. I'm sorry. What were you going to say?
No, just that like, your inner child is still like existing today, and like you in the future exist today, and you can access all of this. It just depends how deep you want to go.
Right, right. Yeah. It's so profound to think. And if you can actually wrap your head around that, God, what kind of life could you have? That'd be like,
I'm not certain anyone has.
I think
Oh,
there's
they
people.
have.
Oh yeah. There's
It's like basically seeing themselves in the future, knowing what they're going to get.
think about it. There's Tibetan masters that live on mountaintops for 100 years. Like they just sit there.
That
Look up the
seems
rainbow
shitty.
body. It's amazing. Do you know what I'm talking about, Lorna?
The rainbow body. I actually don't.
Oh, you should look it up.
Or maybe I do, but I don't know the name.
So
Possible.
I'm not even going to explain it properly, but for everybody that's listening, the rainbow body, look it up. I think it was a Tibetan master. He could be, like, I don't know, like just some kind of, those people that just sit there and meditate.
Mm-hmm.
But he was in the phase of passing over, and somebody took a picture of him, and it was almost translucent.
Oh,
Yeah. So like he was still alive. He still had some seriously low vital signs, but it's just, I'm not even explaining it properly, but if you look it up, it's pretty profound.
so he basically transitioned without like death. Is that kind of what you're saying?
Yeah. That's exactly what
Yeah.
I'm saying.
Yeah. I believe in that for sure.
Yeah. It's amazing. Just some of the things you can find out in the world.
Yeah. Humans are amazing. I mean, we're pretty cool.
I feel like we're so repressed in this day and age as opposed to what they knew back, in China, let's say, way back. You know what I'm saying?
That's some new.
Well,
Not everybody.
yeah, but that's what I'm saying.
People over there still being
Spiritually.
slaves and shit.
No, spiritually, I'm thinking.
Yeah, they were spiritually pissed.
Maybe that's projection.
Yeah, Steve.
Yeah, I was looking into past lives recently, just listening to actually some other podcasts about it, and people were saying like, well, we couldn't find like the origin of the idea or like the concept because it was so normal like eons ago. But if you look back at like ancient India, for instance, I feel like people in India just like knew everything, like they had all the answers.
Yeah, that's exactly how I feel. Like we knew it at one point, and then for some reason, just I guess, I don't know, the industrial age. I have no idea what happened to us. Like even the Egyptians, they had so much knowledge. They had
Yes,
like
definitely.
hieroglyphs everywhere. They must have known some stuff.
Oh, they definitely did. Yeah.
Potentially.
Potentially birds coming from the sky. I feel like maybe that could have been aliens. I don't know. Just a thought.
No, I mean, who knows? A lot of slaves then, too. I was probably a past life slave. I'm pissed.
We get over this slave situation.
I was saying they knew
We've
so
come
much.
so far, Steve.
But this guy over here is fucking pulling a rope and pulling up a 20-ton block for some asshole telling him what to do.
How do we know that that's how it happened?
Because it's the only thing that makes sense.
Could have been aliens.
They would have built it faster.
Yeah. Well, think about it. How did they get the limestone on top? We don't see it today, but these things were covered in limestone.
Just told you. Slaves.
How?
Ropes, pulleys. So are you believing in like multiple lives then?
Yeah. Yeah, I feel like that's the most common term. I do personally. I didn't always, but yeah, I feel like it makes sense personally. Because if you think about it, well, this is my understanding now is that basically, like we as souls are, I would say we're infinite, and so it seems to me like this is what I've heard many teachers say is that we do come back for certain reasons, and so yeah, like maybe someone was a slave in Egypt and now they're a CEO in the United States. You have no idea. So yeah, that's kind of the point I've come to today. But at the same time, like I'm not really married to any specific concepts either. Like I feel like so many people listening to this must be along the same lines that so much has changed in the last, maybe 5 years. Like the things I used to believe 5 years ago are very different than what I believe now. So I don't know if it's an empath thing or what, but I feel like I've gone under this like spiritual evolution and like ascension like very quickly, even especially in the last 2 years. So this is where I am today, and I don't know about tomorrow.
I like this. So you're always evolving, and now you're believing in past lives. Would you ever be
Right.
open to a
Yeah.
regression?
Oh, definitely. Yeah.
I don't know if I would, only because of what I've learned about hypnosis.
Oh, really? What have you learned?
Well, we've talked to a hypnotist, and he said basically it's kind of like a Carney act. So basically, you can get somebody to say something. I don't know. How did
He said you couldn't get someone to do something they wouldn't want to do anyway. So it's all
Right.
kind of like bullshit.
As in like controlling their body?
Yeah. Like that, like no one's really under hypnosis, or we always are if we kind of like we're choosing to be it, I guess.
Well, kind of like your thoughts are things, which is true.
Hmm.
So in a way, that's part of how hypnosis is. Like that's the basis of it.
Yeah, basically. He basically says all bullshit. He did.
He did say that.
He basically said
truly
it's
did.
all lies. He learned about it in a book, started doing it, and now he does like big stage acts.
Yeah.
And he said it's
He was
all
self-taught.
bullshit.
But
Interesting.
on the other hand, I feel like if we want to go and we trust the person that's regressing us, then I don't know, sky's the limit maybe.
Right. So one of the forms of hypnotherapy I'm familiar with is RTT. I think it's rapid transformational therapy. And I've heard some amazing stories with that. I haven't personally done it, but the point is to basically access your subconscious. You're not really like doing anything. The point isn't to like be commanded to do something. It's more to access like, memories that are, covered over, or, you're not actively accessing them most of the time. And that can clear up some, for example, like limiting beliefs that are affecting you in your, present life.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. And they also say things like when, somebody has like a birthmark here or like a skull, like some kind of weird deformity that they've carried it in through from another life as well, which to me is, I don't know, that's kind of profound. Did you ever see anybody with like, I don't know, random big birthmark, or I don't know. Maybe that's why I have so many freckles. Maybe I was scattered with bullets.
You never know.
Like a fucking mob hit or something, like St. Valentine's Day's Massacre.
Yeah.
You're just like
Super amount of
riddled with bullets.
No,
I mean, it's a
but
cool way to see yourself, I guess.
Well, I mean, if everything, everything recycles somehow, breaks down, recycles into something. Our soul has to go somewhere.
I mean, we'll know one day, I guess, and then we'll forget about it if we come back to life. So
Or we won't, like that little boy I told you about.
he forgot about it too eventually.
No, he didn't.
He did it?
No.
You sure?
Well, no, because it's so recorded.
Oh yeah, he's gonna keep being reminded, but I don't know if he knows, like truly knows anymore like he used to.
Right. We're talking about, I don't know, I saw this thing about this little boy who, what was it, First World War II?
Yeah, I think World War Matter.
Was he like a pilot who died?
Yes.
Yes, it's an amazing story.
Yeah, so how do you not believe something like that from an innocent child?
Right. Yeah, that was one of the big things for me in terms of, if past lives are real.
Yeah. And we
'Cause
also
there are
used to
lots
watch
of stories like that.
Oh yeah, we used to watch a show called A Ghost Within A Ghost Within My Child.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was awesome too.
Ooh.
It was so cool.
And they stopped because they ran out of kids, I guess.
Yeah.
Because most people don't remember, see?
Yeah.
Mm.
I know we talked about it briefly, but why don't you tell everybody again where they can find you?
Sure. So I'm on Instagram at Lorna Stell. You can also find me on Facebook at facebook.com/Lorna Stell Intuitive. And my website, where you'll find all the information about Alchemize Your Chronic Illness, is lornastellintuitive.com.
Awesome. And as always, you guys can find us at thebeerlatteshow.com and the Beer Latte Show on Instagram and Facebook, and Beer Latte on Twitter. We'll see you guys next week.
Yeah, this drip all on my body, soaking wet the sunny.